Hello. It's your girl Wednesday Ayana, and you are tuned in to another episode of the Everything Wednesday Show. Thank you for joining me. We're about to have a dope conversation, and I'm really excited that you decided to tune in. So, let's get into it. Listen, I have been getting inboxes, phone calls, text messages of every sort in regards to mammograms. Did I have any symptoms? Some people have called me in pure panic attacks or text me or message me in the midst of panicking about results. So I thought that it was a good idea to jump on here and do a video and talk about some of these things. So let's get into it. One of the questions that I was asked was, did I have any symptoms? Did I experience the leaky boob or lumps in my breast or the imprinted nipple or anything like that? No, I did not experience any of that. I did not think I had any unusual lumps in my breast. About 7 years ago, I went to my physical and my doctor did a breast exam on me, and she sent me for a sonogram because she said my boobs were pretty lumpy. So I went for the sonogram and it came back dense tissue mass. So when she sent me for the sonogram, I thought it was dense tissue mass. So that was it. Went for that. They said that I was good. Just do my annual exams, and if I felt anything different than the lumps that I should be familiar with that was in my breast, then come in and let them check it out or have them check it out. So I went on all of those years doing my breast exam, getting familiar with the lumps and bumps that was in my boobs, and nothing felt unusual to me. So this time I had a mammogram. It was time for my annual appointments, but I was 40 now, and my doctor is like, you're due for a mammogram. You have to get a mammogram now. You're 40. And I'm like, okay, cool. I ended up losing my script, y'all. And when I went out of town, and when I came back, my doctor was giving me the hardest time about giving me a new script. And I was just like, I need a new script because I need to go get my mammogram. So I went to my OBGYN appointment to get my annual appointment there. And they too was like, you need to get your mammogram. And I was like, okay, well, let's get my mammogram then, because I need a new script anyway. So they called my script. They faxed my script over to the office that they used for mammograms. So I didn't even have to do nothing hands-on with it. Shout out to them, because they made my life easy with the script, So that office, which was Winsong, ended up contacting me to come in to do my mammogram. So I ended up going in and doing that. Typically they can give you some type of results back the same day, but I went on a Saturday, so there was no doctor in the office that could look at my images and give me my results that same day. So I got a letter in the mail, and the letter in the mail said that they did find something. This does not mean that you have breast cancer, but we did see something that we would like to examine further. So give us a call and set up a date. So that's what I did. Ended up going back in this time during the week, so I will be able to see the doctor that same day. So I went in for the second mammogram, and they took the pictures. They did all the testing, which is not that bad. People give out these crazy stories about getting your mammogram. I had very sensitive boobs, and it wasn't even bad for me. So just go. Anyway, they did the mammogram, and then the doctor called me in her room to discuss what the findings were. So when I walk in, the room's dark, and she has her computer screens up, and the pictures of my boob is on the screen. And it looked so cool, y'all. Well, it was really cool to me. It was cool to the nerd in me. It looked like astrology inside of my boob. It was like stars. And I was like, look at all of that pixie dust in me. It was cancer. Like, of course. So, the doctor ended up saying, like, I don't know what this is. And she's an older lady, looks very seasoned in her career. And she's like, the way she said it was like, this is interesting even to me, because I don't know what this is. And so she said, we're going to have to send you for some biopsies. And what they're going to do, and she broke down the whole biopsy procedure to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm getting ready to leave her office. And I'm like, am I still doing the sonogram today? And she's like, yes, actually, yes, we're going to have you do a sonogram. So at that point, she already told me that they were going to have to biopsy 3 areas. So then I go get the sonogram. They do the sonogram. She takes the results back to the doctor, and the doctor wants to see me again. So I go back in, and she says, now we're going to have to do 4 areas. And so I'm like, okay. All right. So we get the biopsy schedule, and I go for my biopsy. And that was extensive. That was extensive. That was a lot. That was a lot. They did a lot of... They shot. They didn't shoot the club up. They shot the boob up. Just annihilated my daddy. I don't think y'all understand. Y'all worry about the mammogram. Worry about when they tell you gotta go in for a biopsy. Then come and talk to me. I was like, well, I'll be damn. What y'all looking for? Anyway. They found it. They found what they was looking for. So I finished the biopsies because I had to get 4 areas biopsy. Now this is the trick. They'll tell you how many areas you have to have biopsy, but they want several samples from each area. So they said 4 biopsies, but they might have stabbed this area 10 times, maybe another 10, maybe 12, or 12 might be a stretch. I might be exaggerating, maybe 8. And then all I know is I had a lot of needles in my boob. It was only the left side that they found anything in that needed to be tested. So I had nothing in the right, only in the left. So we're done with the biopsy. And I have my Everything Wednesday event. Or wait. No, I had my second mammogram, and then I had the Everything Wednesday event. Then I had the biopsy. And then I want to say it was less than a week later, about 4 days, on June the 4th, 2024, I got a phone call. Miss Holmes, this is her. And they were like, we got your test results back. Did you want to go over them over the phone? And I'm like, yes, you can tell me now. And I'm not thinking she's going to say cancer. I still think I got dense tissue mass with my simple self. I still think that I got dense tissue mass. I wasn't freaking out, panicking, no nothing. I was just, yeah, let's go over them. Never, never. I did not think that she was about to say, well, 4 of your biopsies came back malignant for cancer. I said, malignant? She said, yes. They all came back malignant for cancer. And I said, so that mean I got cancer? And she said, yes, you have cancer. And I'm like, I got cancer? And she was like, yes, your results came back malignant for cancer, unfortunately. And I'm like, oh, wow. I sat down, I had to say it did. I will not lie to you. It set me down. And I was trembling a little bit. My hands was kind of like, did I hear you correctly? And she was like, yes. And she went right into, so, we wanted to know what facility you wanted to go to. I said, you just told me I got cancer, lady. I don't know. I'm still trying to process what I heard you say. I got cancer. Girl. Okay. Now, let's get into Roswell's the only place I know to go. Like, I don't know. Like, where else is there to go? Like, who do I run to when I need? Woo! That was crazy. That was crazy. I ain't gonna hold you. That was some news. That was definitely some news. But I took it all in. I made whatever appointments I had to make, and I did not bust out crying right after I hung up from her. I looked and see if I had. Never mind. Y'all don't need to know all of that. I went down on the porch. I went and sat on the porch, and I was like, wow, I gotta call my kids and tell my kids that I have cancer. This is really gonna hurt them. And that thought hurt me. Having to tell them and my mom that, and my friends, like, just tell my loved ones that I got cancer. Anyway, I did it. I broke down when I told my kids. That was pretty hard. That was hard. So after my breakdown with my kids, I took a moment. Yeah, I took a moment. I did not cry in that moment. I only cried when I told my kids. And then everything else was just filtering and processing. And more importantly, my mind immediately went to, okay, God, now what kind of lesson are you about to teach me here? What is this about? I need to hear from you. We gotta talk. Wheel it in. Come on in. I'm all ears. I'm all ears, because what part of the plan was this? Where does, what? Now what? I need to hear from you in my Yolanda Adams voice. I need to hear from you, please. Yeah. So, I took that time and I became very quiet until I had to tell the rest of my loved ones. And I told them, and a lot of them by that time, I had already got what I needed. God had already spoke to my spirit and told me, like, you're gonna be okay. You are gonna be okay. Do you trust me? And I said, like no other. Like no other. I looked around my surroundings and I came across this picture, this painting that I had gotten printed up for my Everything Wednesday event that I had prior to me getting the biopsy, right after my second mammogram. I had this picture printed up, so I had no idea anything, because when I got my first mammogram, I had already ordered this painting. So I remember sitting there. It probably was the next day, And I looked across the room and I seen this picture. And I started looking everywhere at all of the pink items all around my room from my Everything Wednesday event. There was pink everywhere. It was pink flowers. The flyers were pink. I wore this beautiful pink dress. There was just pink everywhere. There was pink everywhere. And then I looked across the room at this painting and this picture of me, and I was like, whoa. I'm gonna show it to you now. Do you see me? Look at this. This was an old picture that I graphically, changed the graphics on it. And I had a pink towel on. That's actually correct. But just, I did this graphically, the artwork of it. And I'm holding my left boob. And all of this was cancer. Ain't that crazy? I looked across the room and I seen that. And hold on, let me move this back. And it was at that moment that I was like, thank you, Jesus. Oh, thank you, God. Because it was in that moment that I knew that God was in it before I had even got to it. God was already in it before I even got to it. I couldn't worry about it no more. I couldn't worry about it like that. I couldn't give it any power. I couldn't give it any power. I couldn't give it that type of power. My mom had just bought me a Bible. The Bible was pink. The flyers were pink. The flowers were pink. The plating was pink. I got this picture. It was just so much stuff. And I was just like, wow, like, it's not like pink is like a favorite color of mine or anything like that. And I don't know why I chose pink. I have no idea. A couple weeks later, I have the biopsy. Less than a week after that, I get the results. Then I look around. As I'm laying there, I look around and there's all these reminders that God is with you. God is with you. And if God be for you, who shall be against you? And I had plenty of nights where it was still tough. But my faith would not allow me to just give up or feel defeated. If anything, I struggled with being angry. I struggled with, like, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to go through this. Like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to, and I have to. I don't want to, and I have to. And that was frustrating for me. And then once I made the announcement that I had breast cancer, a friend of mine had reached out to me, or constantly kept reaching out to me. And he was like, once I finally talked to him, he was like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and you need to get on your holistic treatments, and I'm going to drop off some stuff to you, and all of this stuff. And I was just like, okay, thank you. And then he drops a bomb on me and tells me that he has cancer. And I'm like, wow. Like, and he's like, yeah, and I have at least 3 other girls that I'm talking to right now that's battling cancer as well, and helping them and getting them some of the same things that he had gotten to me. And I'm just like, wow, like, and so we started conversing back and forth all the time about, you know, our diagnosis, or he would send me a lot of videos that they have on Instagram about holistic treatments or just cancer in general and how it moves and how it does different things, and then chemo treatments and so on and so forth. So he had told me that he stopped going to chemo. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. So we just were talking and conversing back and forth. Shortly after that, and I mean shortly, it was not long, I contact him because I stopped hearing from him as much. So I spoke with him, and he was not doing well. He was having a hard time breathing, couldn't hold long-winded conversation. He had told me he had lost weight and he had started back the chemo, but the chemo was really tough. We ended up speaking a couple of weeks later, and he was in the hospital. Found out that it was the same hospital that I went to for my appointments to get my expanders expanded. I asked him if it was okay for me to come and see him. You know, some people may not feel comfortable, but he was fine with it. I told him that my next appointment was really early in the morning. It was like 7:15, and he was just like, I don't know if, what time visiting hours are and if they'll let you, come earlier, but this is where I am, and so on and so forth. Long story short, visiting hours was at 10 o'clock. I was done with my appointment at 8 something, and I had caught a ride to the hospital because I had just had surgery, so I still couldn't drive. So my ride had to go, so I had to go. I couldn't wait. And I said that I would go see him my next appointment because my appointments were every week, but my doctor had scheduled me 2 weeks out this time. So I assumed I had 2 weeks. Yeah. I assumed I had the time, and I did not. He passed away 2 days before my next appointment. 2 days. I took that very, very hard. Very, very hard. I took that very, very hard. I probably cried more about that than I did my actual diagnosis. That broke my heart. I was getting ready to start chemo myself. I was getting prepared for that. And I just lost one of my good friends to cancer. While I'm fighting the same fight. 2 different types of cancer, but still the same fight. That was very tough for me. Very, 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 very tough. Very tough for me. Yeah. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to him. Very good man. So on a lighter note, let's lighten up the mood a bit. I started chemo. I did start chemo. And it has been quite the journey. This upcoming Friday will be my 4th round of chemo, my 4th session. So we are 1/3 down. 8 more sessions after this one. And we're making progress. We are making progress. And I am going to do another video about chemo, its side effects, and what I have experienced a little more in-depthly thus far. So you make sure you stay tuned. Thank you for sticking with me and staying with me this far. This is going to be a more than part 1 series. Well, not series, but episode. So Be sure to stay tuned for the next episode of the Everything Wednesday show, where I give you a plethora of information on what to do about your boobies and your girls, and help you with different perspectives on how to handle certain things, and tell you about my experiences and how I've handled certain things and how I've gotten through some of the things that I've experienced. So make sure you subscribe, like, and even leave a comment. Let me know if there's something else that you would like for me to talk about, because sometimes keeping up with the content is a little tough for me, like sometimes. And it's weird that it's tough for me because I have so much to talk about. But let me know what it is that you would like for me to answer and or talk about, and I'll be glad to do so. So until then, if you are 40 years of age or older and you have not gotten your mammogram, you are overdue. Even if you're 40, you're overdue. Go and get your mammogram. Set your appointments. And go get your mammograms. Especially women of color, I need y'all to understand how important going to get your mammograms are. Early detection can save your life. Early detection can save your life. Go get the mammogram. Make the appointment. And then let me know how it went for you. Please. Also, if you have a family history of breast cancer, if your mama, your grandmama, your auntie, your sister, your cousin had breast cancer, talk to your primary doctor and let your primary doctor know that you have a family history of breast cancer and you need your mammogram now. You can do that. You can do that. You also can get genetic testing. There is genetic testing that you can get done to see if you are at high risk for breast cancer. If you already have it in your family, you can only get the genetic testing done if it already coexists within your family. Talk to your primary doctor and let them know your concerns and see what they can do to help you. If you are 40, if you are 39 and you have a birthday coming, schedule your mammogram for as soon as you hit 40. If you are over 40 and you have not gotten your mammogram, shame on you. Schedule an appointment. See y'all.
Minimally invasive methods for sampling the tissue. That means we use a needle to take the sample with an imaging system for guidance. It's faster and more comfortable than open surgery, and your recovery time is much quicker. Of course, it's okay to be nervous about any medical procedure, but it's really not quite as scary as it sounds, and it helps to know ahead of time what's going to happen. First, you will lie face up on an exam table. An ultrasound probe will be used to locate the exact point in your breast where they want to take a tissue sample. At this point, your physician comes in and double checks the target position with the ultrasound device. Next, they will clean and numb your breast prior to making a small incision. Using the ultrasound image as a guide, the tip of the biopsy device is inserted into your breast, and they begin to take the tissue samples. They take a few samples to make sure they have enough tissue for diagnosis. It may take a minute or two to get the complete sample. Finally, a tiny marker is placed at the spot where they took the sample. This can be seen in future mammograms to show the location of this biopsy and to minimize the chance that this location would be biopsied again. When the procedure is finished, they bandage your incision and apply pressure. After a few minutes, the technologist might take you for a post-biopsy mammogram. When that's finished, you're ready to go home. Most women are able to get right back to their normal lives the same day. It's normal to feel some discomfort. There's a tiny nick in your skin that will heal in a few days. Your physician will provide post-procedure instructions. But if you develop redness, tenderness, or swelling, or any unusual symptoms, be sure to let your doctor or nurse know about it. Your doctor will contact you to tell you what the lab work indicates and whether any more procedures need to be done. Early detection is the best weapon against breast cancer. A longer, healthier life is something every woman deserves.